everybody, and welcome back to Learn English with Teachify. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been quite a long time, but we are absolutely buzzing to be back. We are over the moon on cloud nine after a nice summer break, and here we're going to rock your world. So I'm Lewis, as I'm sure you know, and that guy over there laughing to himself is Will.
Hi, Lewis. I'm Will. I don't know if people could see me laughing to myself. I enjoy your enthusiasm when you start these. I am also buzzing, and yeah, I'm ready to go. Not even thinking about all of the work I currently have to do. Not important. For those of you who don't know, I'm in Madrid. I believe, Lewis, did you even say where you're from or where you're recording from?
Well, I'm from Leeds, from the UK. I lived in Sevilla for 6 or 7 years, and then I realized that it was too hot. It was boiling. It was sweltering. It was sizzling in summer. And right now, I'm in Belgium, in Brussels, beautiful Brussels. But
Oh no!
there's three of us. Mickey, tell us
I
about
know.
you.
I felt
I
a little
was
bit left out here. Will didn't want to introduce me, say who I am, what I'm doing, where I am. Felt a
no.
little bit lonely sitting here on the floor.
Aw, all on your Todd. So,
What did you just to go back quickly, Lewis? You just said the word on your pod. What does that mean? Because that is an interesting English word. Because we are here to teach you guys English, which we're going to explain in a minute. But on your pod, what does that mean?
On your Todd. This is a really native expression. To be on your Todd means to be all alone, to be on your lonesome, we could also say. So Mickey was feeling a little bit left out, a little bit excluded because Will was introducing himself and then he went straight back to me. So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
Mickey, all on his Todd, all on his own.
yeah. It's not very polite. Will, I'm going to remember that.
I hope you do remember that. I really do. And yeah.
Okay, Lewis. So tell everyone because it's a slightly new format we've got this time going around, and we're going to see if you guys enjoy it. But Lewis, what's the plan for this video podcast, YouTube video?
The plan for the pod. The plan for the pod. What is the plan for the pod? Well, previously we have been recording this weekly podcast, talking about different topics, and it only went up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, only in audio form. And now we thought, well, we'd change it up a little bit. So this time we are recording every single episode. We're going to be making some short videos as well, which will go onto Instagram, to TikTok, to YouTube. And for anybody who would like to watch us whilst we are having this informal chit chat, you can go on YouTube and you can watch it all to see our expressions and look at Mickey on his Todd and look at Will just constantly laughing to himself. It's like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Talking about expressions, Will, what did you just do there? Was this like some kind of jazz hand?
Oh, if anyone's ever done a level test or a class with me, they know that my hands, they move, they have minds of their own, and it can confuse some people.
Yeah.
But basically, this was, I don't even know what this is. I suppose they're like, yeah.
I don't, yeah.
No, bang, 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 bang. But it reminds me of all of the expressions with hands that they have in Spain, for example. You know, there's lots of this, there's this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
This one's my favorite.
Oh, what does that mean? Shut up. No, what does it mean?
It's just to
Be
emphasize
quiet.
your point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be quiet, wouldn't it? Like that with the
Zip
hand.
it. Zip it. Hush.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh yeah, it's true. It's true. That
Yeah,
gesture is quite
for
common.
people who are not, who are only listening, I'm making a small circle with my thumb and finger, and I don't know,
You're moving down.
it
You're
down.
thrusting down.
Yeah. Thrusting repeatedly down.
Oh dear.
Oh no. Oh no.
So it's quite common that in these podcasts, before I was interviewing different teachers so you could get to know more about the team. This time we thought we'd have some more continuity, and it's going to be the three of us in every single episode. So then you'll see
For the moment.
our For the moment, for now.
Because I am an extremely busy person.
He's lying. He's not really.
This is why I didn't want to introduce you.
He doesn't have the time for that. But anyway, that way you will get to know more about us. You'll have a laugh because I think we've got a good connection between the three of us. We get on really well. We get along like a house on fire. So maybe you can laugh and giggle a little bit with us as each week we speak about a different topic. All clear?
Crystal clear.
Crystal
Clear as what?
clear.
What did you say, Will?
I used a fusion of Spanish and English and said clearissimo. Clearissimo.
Oh, okay. Clarissimo.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, it's the benefits
like
of multiple languages. Mix them.
Wow. You are so smart. The brainchild of William. Now, I think
Autistic.
people might be people might be a little bit confused because they'll be thinking like, who are these three random guys having a little chat, laughing at each other? So I think it would be a good idea to get to know us a little bit more, introduce ourselves a little bit more, and then from there we're going to ask each other some completely random questions. So Mickey, I don't want you to feel left out again, and I don't want you to feel like you are on your Todd. So please tell everybody a little bit more about you.
Okay. Thank you, Lewis. Take note
You're
of that, Will. So I'm Mickey. I am the CEO of Teachify. If you don't know what it is, which I assume all of you do because you've been following us on Instagram, Spotify, having classes with us, hopefully. And I am half English and half Spanish, meaning
Ole.
Ale. I was born in Spain in a wonderful place called Albacete, but you might know
Center
that
of the
because
universe.
the center of the universe. My dad is Spanish and my mum is English, but I was actually brought up in England in a small city called Canterbury, which is in the southeast. Very nice, very cute. Probably wouldn't live there anymore. I haven't lived there since I was 19. I'm now 25. Plus 8. So you guys can work that out for yourselves. Is that right? I'm not very good with numbers. We know I'm not good with numbers or words. Oh no, I'm digging myself a hole here, aren't I?
Keep going, keep digging.
Keep going, keep digging. Yeah, so that's basically who I am. I lived in Spain for 13 years, more or less. The last 3 years, I have been moving around between Spain.
Not very good with words. We heard it already.
Spain, France, and Portugal. And at the moment, I'm currently recording from Indonesia, where I've been for the last few months. And I will be staying until I go back to Madrid, which will be in a few months.
A very busy man, as you can hear.
Absolutely. I have literally zero time on my hands.
Perfect. Just analyzing a little bit of that vocabulary, you said that you were brought up in England. Can you think of a synonym, a different way of saying brought up?
I was raised in England.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I know. Right?
Oh.
I think Will feels a little bit left out now. So, Will, tell everybody a little bit more about you.
I mean, if people want to know, I don't know. That's fine. Thank you, Lewis, for the introduction. Take note.
You're
Mickey.
welcome.
Basically, I have a relatively similar story to Mickey, except for the beginning. I'm not half Spanish, as you can see from the color of my pasty, pale skin, which is a little bit red. I was born in England, moved around England, so I don't really have a home as such, but probably spent the majority of my time in the southeast. I was a musician, wanted to be a heavy metal guitar god, and unfortunately, it was more difficult than I expected, basically. So when I was about 24...
So you started teaching English.
Exactly.
You know what happened? I was working in a pub when I was 18, and the landlord said, I have 2 regrets in life. I never learned an instrument, and I never learned another language. And I already learned the instrument. So I thought, okay, I'm going to learn a language so I don't have these regrets. So I thought at 24, okay, I'm going to go to Spain. And the objective was actually to teach music in Spain. So I started teaching music and then realized I actually enjoy teaching English a lot more because in general, people are terrible. If you're teaching guitar, the person is terrible at guitar and it's terrible.
Oh, wow. Shots fired.
Hey,
can you tell us the name of your worst student that you ever had, just in case they're listening?
I'm trying to think. I actually can't remember it. I can't remember his name. I remember his house. I remember his cat. I remember his family, but I can't remember his name. No, but it is.
Was it Pepe?
Go for
Pepe Martinez.
Pepe.
Yeah, Pepe Martinez. So if you're listening, Pepe, I hope you've improved. And then I realized teaching English is much more fun because not everyone is a musician, but everyone has a personality. And so, it was more fun.
Not always.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah. Mickey, can you talk about your student who's had the least personality then?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't teach anymore, so I mean, would it be fair or right of me to go back? Because they could have improved significantly. And Lewis, what about yourself? Give us a little introduction, even though I think everyone is very familiar being the Podfather, but for those new followers.
Absolutely. Because Will was just waffling on, right? He just kept waffling on. Mickey, what does waffle on mean?
Waffle on means really to talk without any objective and not making much sense. You can also say to beat around the bush, which is kind of like waffle on, like you're just kind of talking, not really, doesn't really make much sense. And unfortunately, guys, you're going to hear this a lot from Will. He's actually quite famous, which could be why you're a good teacher. I'm just going to add that as well, because you are able to talk a lot. And you could also say to talk for England, which is another expression there. Hang on, we've got 3 expressions there that we need to clarify. So we had the waffle on, which is what Will does, talk aimlessly about nothing. To beat around the bush is to talk about a specific thing, but never actually get to the point of what you're talking about. So you're just talking around it. And then you've got somebody who talks for England, which means that they talk a lot, just in general. There you go, guys.
Mickey, I think you should come out of retirement. You should start teaching again. You haven't lost it.
I need to get my tools. I need to dust off my tools and get back on it.
Absolutely. Sorry about that, Will. So anyway, getting to the point, cutting to the chase. My name is Lewis. I am 30 years old. So I'm the baby of the pod. I'm from Leeds, from Yorkshire, but I've lost a lot of my accent, to be honest. These guys might disagree, but I think I sound very neutral nowadays. I studied languages at university because I had no idea what to do with my life. So then I went on Erasmus to Argentina and to Italy. And then after that, I was like, well, where do I go now? What do I do now? Then I met the love of my life. And then I made the decision to move to Seville because I love Real Betis Balompié. And as I mentioned, nowadays I'm living in Brussels and I love languages. I love football. I love food. I really love food. And right now I'm starving. Just thinking about it. I'm starving. But yeah, that is me in a nutshell.
Ooh, in a nutshell.
In summary. Easy.
I like that. To be honest with you, just going back to what you said, Lewis, that the fact that you love food, it's very true. Like I've spent time with Lewis, and Will, we've all known each other quite a while now, quite a few years, and worked together and been friends with each other. But I've stayed with Lewis a few times in the same apartment, and we do like to go out and have some food. And Lewis always seems to know where to go to get the best of certain dishes. And I have to admit, he's usually spot on with his decisions.
Spot on. Let's just involve Will in this as well. Will, spot on. What does it mean?
I mean, you spent 15 minutes saying that I speak for England and I waffle on. Here I am. Now, to be spot on is it's to be correct. It's to be right. That's it, exactly. Correct, and you agree, etc. A good expression, to be spot on, and something that I wanted to mention at the time.
Okay, go ahead.
I
After
didn't
you.
want to waffle on or ramble on or beat
Ooh.
around the bush. I was going to say, Mickey, what's the opposite of to beat around the bush?
As like an idiomatic expression, or just how would
He's
you
buying
say it?
time. He can't
And
remember.
this, ladies and gentlemen, is why he does not teach and should definitely not come out of retirement.
What I do is I offer the student a bit of independent learning time so they can think for themselves. Oh,
Now,
so it's the opposite of beat around the bush is to be straight as an arrow.
what?
No, I don't know. I saw this and I thought arrow. I don't know. To be direct.
To get to the point.
Oh, sugar.
And I also mentioned and used another synonym of this, a more advanced way of saying this. And it's like with scissors. What do you do with scissors? Go on, Mickey.
Cut to the chase.
There we go. There we go. Now he can come out of retirement. Anyway, Will, Mickey mentioned that we have known each other for quite a long time, and we each met each other in kind of unusual circumstances. Will, how did you meet Mickey?
Can you summarize this one, because it's quite a long story? And if you're telling it, it's going to be double long.
Just to clarify, actually, I'm connected with you in a weird way as well, Lewis. So
we're all connected.
This is fate. This is destiny. Yeah, I met Mickey. It must be 12 years ago now, when we were both training to be an English teacher. We both went to London. We both did a course and this is where I met Mickey. And this is when I looked at him and I thought, no. Okay, wherever he goes, I'm going to be going as well, because
you were like, this guy's not going to make the cut. He's never going to be an English teacher.
I was confused because there were someone on the course who didn't really have a good command of the English language, and but you persevered, you tried, you kept going, you kept fighting, and you did it, Mickey. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate those words. Just so you guys understand, I had to study a lot to become an English teacher, but I didn't give up, and I did it in the end, and I became an English teacher. So that's very good.
Life lessons. This is what you need to know. And also, Will, you mentioned that you are strangely connected to me too. Tell us how, in what way?
Well, so I told you, my family, I grew up in different places in England all over, and my mother's family is from a very small town in the north of England called Bingley. And I spent Christmases with my grandmother and my aunts in this very small town. I spent years, all my life, thinking no one knows about this tiny town except me and my mother's family. And then all of a sudden, I say, Lewis, where are you from?
Bingley, obviously, the center of the universe.
And not only is he from Bingley, which is a small town, but I mean, you could live a big distance from each other, but you are approximately a 5-minute walk away from my grandmother's place, who unfortunately has passed, but that's not the point.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Crazy.
Rest in peace.
Very good.
It's a small world, right? It's a small world.
It is.
I'm going to summarize how I know Lewis as well, just very quickly. Basically, I stole Lewis from another academy to bring him into another academy that I was working at the time, purely because he was my replacement when I left this former academy. And everyone said that he was a better teacher than me. And at first, I'm not going to lie, I was a little
He
bit
took
jealous.
it personally. He took
I
it to
took it
heart.
personally. And it got my back up. It made me a little bit angry. But do you know what? after I brushed that to the side, oh my God, the vocabulary you're learning today
Wow.
is it's okay. I'm only good for one podcast. Like I'm putting it all into I'm putting it all into one. The next one is going to be terrible. After I brushed aside my jealousy and anger for Lewis, I thought instead of fighting him, why not get him to join us? So I invited him for an interview, and we ended up working together. Funnily enough, and
I
it
mean,
was
if you
a
can't
good
beat them,
decision.
join them, right?
That's right. That is exactly it. Oh, that's the expression I was looking for. Yeah.
But no, it's funny because I remember when I started working as an English teacher, my first job, I was Mickey's replacement who had moved on to another role in another company. And then people were saying, "Ah, you're like Mickey." I was like, "Who's this Mickey guy?" I don't care.
But better. You're like
But you're
Mickey,
like
but
Mickey,
better.
but better. Two words, and I quote. But no, then we went separate ways in one way or another, and then like a year and a half later, I can't remember how it happened, whether I applied or he reached out to me. To be honest, I don't remember. But we had an interview together. We hit it off. We connected, and then we started working together for around about a year. And after that, I decided to go traveling for a year to Australia, traveling and working. And once that experience ended, I reached out to Mickey again. I sent him a message and said, "Hey, Mickey, I've seen that you've created a company. I want to join." And the rest is history.
Yeah, that was like how many years ago was that? Like 4 years? Must have been about 4 years now, no?
Uh, four,
Five
yeah,
years?
five. I
I don't
don't
know. I
know.
mean, the company's now been running for 6 years, but and you were the first teacher to come in officially, and then and now there's like 17 of us in total between the Spanish, French, English. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of us. So yeah, we've grown quite a lot in the last 6 years.
Exactly. And Will came in. I remember when we just expanded to Madrid, and it was like 2 weeks before, you know what, the pandemic happened.
Oh, what pandemic?
So
I I
we
brought that, by the way. You're welcome.
exactly. But no, he was a game changer. Will was a game changer, absolutely. Oh,
It's
He can
crazy.
talk for
it's
an hour
nice.
straight.
I can. This is the what is it? The pot calling the kettle black.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know the expression, but to be honest with you, I always muddle the words up.
I thought you were going to say I never really understood the expression.
And that.
Yeah. When someone is being a little hypocritical, we say the pot calling the kettle black. But it's true that maybe the expression is a little outdated now, a little old-fashioned. But it's true. It's a beautiful story at the end, and I wanted to ask Lewis. I didn't want to interrupt or anything. Okay.
Of course
That's not
not.
what I do. But
That's a
Lewis, you
first.
said that you went to Argentina on the Erasmus. Was it an Erasmus or was it a gap year? A gap year?
Well, to be honest, I had my gap year at university, which was compulsory. And because I was studying Spanish and Italian, I had to spend half of the year in a Spanish speaking country and half of the year in Italy. And I wanted an experience. I didn't want to stay in Spain because I had visited many times on holiday. So I thought, I'm going to go to Argentina. And whilst I was there, I was teaching in a school, in a primary school. So that part wasn't Erasmus. But after that, then I went to Palermo in Sicily and did my Erasmus experience. And during that time, I was living with a group of people from Andalusia, from Spain. So I didn't really learn any Italian, but my Spanish got a lot better.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay.
Very nice.
I
Very nice indeed.
I didn't know Erasmus existed until I came to Spain, and everyone said, "Oh yes, I went to blah 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 on my Erasmus." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Huh?
And then I was like, "Oh, it's like a gap year," and they're like, "Well, not really." And then I explained the gap year is maybe Mickey. You're a good person to explain what a gap year is.
Yeah, I don't know what a gap year is. I feel like
What?
you are trying to say that I am currently on a gap year. And it could be the case that I am just a nomad. They're two different things. Nomad, gap year, two different things.
Yeah, just to clarify, a gap year is when you take a break, and generally it's when before university.
Oh,
So
okay.
you finish studying. Yeah, it's not your yeah.
It's not me then.
Maybe you're pre-university still. But it's when you take it 1 year and you go traveling, generally to Thailand or Asia, and it's a spiritual journey. And
is that what you feel I'm on, a spiritual journey?
I mean, the bracelets, the ring.
I've had this on since I was 10.
The spiritual journey seems to have been going on for 23 years then.
And I still haven't found myself.
Oh. Anyway, I think maybe we should call it a day then, because the plan was to go over some random questions, but in the end, we've been waffling on. We've been beating around the bush. We've been talking beep. But hopefully that way you know a lot more about us, how we are connected, and you know a little bit about the plan for the upcoming episodes, which we'll try to do weekly.
What is the plan next week?
Well, next week, because we didn't get round to asking each other random questions, next week, I think it'd be a good idea for you to continue getting to know us. And we're going to take it in turns by asking each other a range of completely random questions created by ChatGPT. So you can continue to get to know us.
Fantastic.
Easy.
Love it. Perfect.
Love it. So
well, that's a wrap then, guys, no?
Exactly. That's a wrap. So thank you so much for watching or listening. If you have just been listening to the audio version on Spotify, make sure you check out the video on YouTube and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode, because we'll also be uploading some shorts as well, highlighting the best bits.
Hey, perfect. Guys, see you next week.
See you later, guys.
Ciao. Bye-bye. Teachify your life.